SoFi is up over 20% in the past month, and up over 42% since hitting its low point back in August. But is this just the beginning, and how high can SoFi go? With rate cuts beginning last month and expected to continue through 2025, and the fintech industry set to explode to 1.5 trillion by 2030, is SoFi stock the next millionaire maker? SoFi has almost reversed all of 2024's drop, and SoFi is thriving like never before. In this video, I'll reveal why now is the time to invest, so don't miss out. Before we get into the video, I want to thank everyone who reached out to me over the past few weeks. These are my first videos in over a month due to some unforeseen personal reasons, so thanks to everyone who has reached out. I am planning to make a few more videos now over the weekend, so stay tuned. As usual, if you find any value in this, it would be much appreciated if you could smash the like button. It literally costs you nothing, but it helps the channel out so much. I'm aiming to get 500 likes on this video. Help me achieve that goal. For anyone that's new, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on new content like this. I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice, so always do your own due diligence. Now let's get straight into it with a quick overview of SoFi. So SoFi is a fintech that offers a range of lending and wealth management services. The company primarily caters to early stage professionals and offers variable and fixed rate, parent, personal and MBA loans, mortgage refinancing and more. They create modern financial products and services that help people borrow, save, spend, invest and protect their money better so they can achieve financial independence and realize their ambitions, which could be owning a home or saving for retirement, paying off their student debt, and much more. So SoFi is a fintech company that is positioning itself as a one-stop shop for all your personal finances. Now I see so many people commenting on SoFi, calling the company a startup and treating this like a company that was just founded, but SoFi was founded more than a decade ago in 2011. And a lot of people seem to be thinking that this company has only really existed since going public less than 4 years ago. But the fact is that this company was a decade old before it was listed on Nasdaq. It's still a growth company with huge potential and still at the very early stages and where you consider digital banking is at the moment. But this is not a risky startup that is only in its very beginning. This is well established. And fintech is one of the most promising megatrends which will disrupt the way we go about obtaining financial services. Fintech is projected to become a $1.5 trillion industry by 2030. The fintech sector currently holds a 2% share of the $12.5 trillion global financial services revenue. It's estimated to grow up to 7%, of which banking fintechs are expected to constitute almost 25% of all banking valuations worldwide by 2030. In 2022, fintechs on average lost more than half of their market value, but according to the research, this plunge should be considered a short-term correction in an otherwise long-term positive trajectory. So given the huge opportunity in such a huge industry, this leads on to a very simple question. How well is SoFi really doing? Now, if we look at the investors presentation for just a moment, we can see the new member additions has been steadily increasing quarter after quarter, as too new product additions and the number of Galileo accounts. In fact, there has been huge growth in lending products and financial service products over the past few years. Everything is pointing upwards for this company, but the share price does not reflect this just yet. In the last quarter, there was a slight drop in quarterly adjusted net revenue and quarterly adjusted EBITDA, coming from an insane increase the quarter before, and management has been very prudent with lowballing guidance for the coming earnings report. Now, the last time I did an earnings preview video on SoFi, I was spot on with my predictions on all the growth figures as well as the revenue and EPS prediction. If you would like an earnings preview over the next couple of days, then drop a comment below and let me know. If I get 500 likes on this video over the weekend, I will make an earnings preview on Monday. Earlier this week, SoFi launched 2 new credit cards, SoFi Everyday Cash Rewards and SoFi Essential. SoFi is expanding its credit card portfolio with the launch of these cards. These new offerings, developed with extensive feedback from SoFi members and others, build on the company's commitment to helping people achieve their ambitions and serving their diverse credit needs. Now, this is one of the things that I love about SoFi. They actually listen to their customers. As it says here, the cards have been developed with extensive feedback from SoFi members. The SoFi Everyday Cash Rewards credit card is designed for those who prioritize earning rewards on their daily spending, which as we can see here is offering cashback of between 1% and 3% on different types of purchases. While the SoFi Essentials credit card offers a reliable credit line for those focused on building or improving their credit scores, with CEO Anthony Noto stating that expanding SoFi's credit card offering enables us to better serve more people's spending and borrowing needs. All in all, this is one of the many reasons that SoFi has seen such amazing growth over the past couple of years. They listen to their members and provide products that members actually want. As I've said before, this builds trust between SoFi and its members while also providing even more cross-selling opportunities to help the company grow further. Now guys, as you know, if you follow this channel, I do a lot of reading and analysis before I talk about any stock I cover on the channel. As far as I'm concerned, the more that you know about a company, the more likely you are to predict what is going to happen next. It's important to look at both the positive and the negative opinions and draw your own conclusions. And this is a very interesting bit of analysis that I found on Seeking Alpha yesterday that suggests that even after gaining over 20% in the past few weeks, that SoFi stock is actually not overvalued as many analysts think. Based on Peter Lynch's formula, SoFi may be as much as 36% undervalued. So guys, I'm going to take a quick look at a small part of this article, but there is a link to this full article in the description for anyone who wants to have a read of it. If you need a Seeking Alpha account and are considering signing up, then please consider using my link in the comments where you can get my special discount and it helps the channel out too. Seeking Alpha has a ton of SoFi analysis pieces as well as loads of other stocks where they give ratings so you can easily pick out the best stocks going forward, so check this out. So anyways, as I said, SoFi is very much undervalued. SoFi has a bright future ahead and is planning to ramp up its product offerings and platform functionality to generate longer-term growth and profitability. Wall Street is projecting a rapid expansion of SoFi's EPS in the next few years with a 6-year compound annual growth rate of almost 45%, and this is where it gets interesting. I know it might sound controversial to many who consider SoFi a traditional bank, but I think the company is actually undervalued today when we try to match its implied forward PE with its anticipated growth rates. While many conventional banks do trade at 11 to 13x forward earnings to date, their EPS figures are not going to expand as much as the one of SoFi. So to value SoFi and simultaneously account for this prospective growth rates, I suggest using Peter Lynch's fair value formula. For the EPS growth, taking the compound annual growth rate of 45% and the EPS figure itself using next year's figure of 25 cents per share. As a result, I get a fair value of $11.25, which is 36% lower than the current price. Now, this article was a few days ago, and SoFi did rally on Friday, so it's not a full 36% using this metric. But what's very important to note here is that this is using EPS predictions that SoFi always seem to beat. Just look at the past 4 quarters, for example. SoFi have beaten EPS each and every time, usually by about 60%. So this leads to a very simple question. SoFi is now at its highest price since the beginning of January, but can this rally continue, and will SoFi be a millionaire maker stock? First of all, SoFi stock has declined due to valuation, not business performance. The company could grow for many years on 3 key catalysts. So could SoFi be a millionaire making stock hiding in plain sight? To explore this idea, we're going to break this into some major key points. First of all, people love SoFi's products and services. SoFi is primarily a digital bank, which means it operates online and doesn't have physical branches. Customers bank through the website or SoFi's app. Users can deposit, spend, and save money, invest in stocks or crypto, open a credit card, apply for various loans, monitor their credit, and learn about financial topics all within SoFi. Now, as I've said many times before, this makes banking with SoFi convenient, and it's a great cross-selling model that generates more business from customers as they use the app more. SoFi are building on their existing customer base, but then offering more products to those customers to grow their profits at very little extra cost. This generates more revenue and strengthens customer loyalty. But then it makes it more convenient for customers to be able to do more things in one place. It really is a win-win for everyone. And it's clearly working. As we've already seen, new member additions is growing every quarter by more than 40% for the past 4 years. In fact, in that 4 years, SoFi has gone from just over 1 million members to nearly 9 million members. The app has an average of 4.8 stars out of 5 on Apple's App Store, based on more than 340,000 reviews, so it's clear that customers are more than happy with SoFi. And this is a very good point here. It's not as if the population has expanded eightfold in the past 4 years. This is not population driven. It should be clear that people are leaving other banks to use SoFi. Which leads us on to point number 2. Can SoFi growth last for years? And this is really simple. As long as SoFi continues offering a great product and effectively communicating to the market, there's no reason SoFi can't continue growing. The population of the US is more than 340 million people. SoFi has less than 9 million members. That's only a 2% market penetration. There is unbelievable scope for growth here. For example, back in 2014, during a JP Morgan Chase data breach, the accounts of over 83 million customers were compromised. That's 10 years ago. And the big bank had more than 10 times the amount of customers that SoFi has now. If you look at European banks, Santander has more than 165 million customers. At less than 9 million, SoFi is just at the very beginning of its growth. But SoFi could generate multi-year growth with 3 distinct catalysts: customer expansion, customer engagement, and deposit growth. As I said already, SoFi is increasing its customer base by over 40% constantly. But this won't last forever, but it does not need to. Think about this. When SoFi had 1 million customers and they increased by, say, 80%, that brings the total up from 1 million up to 1.8 million customers, an increase of 800,000 customers on 80%. But now SoFi has nearly 9 million customers. An increase now of just 10% is now 900,000 new customers. But SoFi are still recording growth numbers of 40% plus. This is a point in time that compounding growth will lead to everything really taking off. The other point here is about customer engagement. As I said already, don't underestimate the cross-selling opportunities that can lead to exponential revenue growth. There is massive possibilities with this. And as for deposit growth, another interesting thought, SoFi roughly has $323 billion in deposits as of Q2. The average customer has $2,600 with SoFi. There is growth potential as generational wealth shifts from boomers and Gen X to millennials and Gen Z, and that money trickles into SoFi as investments, savings, and more. So importantly, is SoFi a millionaire maker stock? And this is a question that seems to annoy a lot of people because there is an awful lot of people that are down a lot of money on SoFi. You know, the stock is down about 75% from its 2021 high. And if anyone followed my channel back in 2021, I was not bullish on SoFi as I thought that this was an overvalued company based on the numbers. But now the numbers make sense. This is no longer a loss-making company with small revenue and a small customer base. SoFi is growing and they are consistently proving the doubters wrong. SoFi's price-to-book ratio is in the mix with America's mega banks. They are more established than SoFi but lack the growth potential. The valuation is now sensible enough that investors could realize much of SoFi's future growth as investment returns. Management expects book value to increase by $800 million to $1 billion this year, roughly 20 to 30% jump over last year. SoFi's valuation is small enough that years of consistent high-speed growth could make long-term investors very rich if they're patient enough. And just one last point here I want to make about patience, looking at Nvidia. Nvidia's growth was so slow for such a long time. From 2014 to 2017, it was barely 50%. Again, from 2017 to 2020, barely 50%. But then over the past year, there has been exponential growth. It took years of patience to get to this point. And now you see all the posts online of people saying, I wish I bought Nvidia 5 years ago at say $3 or 10 years ago at say 50 cents. I'm sure that there are people who bought Nvidia back in like 2004. And by 2014, they were barely up 90%. Yet by 2024, they are up over 300,000%. Now, I know this is off topic, but I just wanted to make a point about patience. Because I can guarantee you that there was a lot of people that laughed at anyone holding Nvidia stock who were saying that this was going to be a millionaire maker. So what do you think about this? Are you bullish on SoFi stock? Or did you let bearish sentiment over the past few months affect how you think about SoFi? There is always a lot of talk on social media about SoFi, but always do your own due diligence. Remember that I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice, so always do your research. But if you enjoyed this analysis, then please like and subscribe. I hope you make a load of money on this stock. Follow me on Twitter and I'll